Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. Welcome to a Sunday edition of My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, and we're going to talk about what went right, what went wrong, what was missing for Mississippi State. Kind of a different change of scenery today. Got outside because you know what, sports can't really hurt you if you're outside enjoying the beautiful Sunday weather and on your own back porch. So, man, it's a wonderful day. Look, there's a lot of things to get to. But Mississippi State is off this week and goes into next week preparing for the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss. And so a lot of things to get to, but we need to recap this Missouri game because I think there's some important things to talk about if you're a Mississippi State fan. And honestly, kind of the direction of this program, especially after having some time to think about it last night. One of the things we're going to talk about is for Mississippi State is just kind of a big picture scenario. And it's kind of funny. Going into last night's game, I was thinking, I was not expecting State to win the game, but I thought, I definitely think this one is going to be a closer game, and I could see them pulling it out. I was just so wrong, man. State looked so bad. And what's funny is when you think about the big picture of things, sometimes games are so bad they make you reevaluate things. And here's what I mean by that. Last season, Mississippi State lost to Toledo, and that game made you kind of reevaluate how the season could go. Because you're thinking, okay, well, if they're this bad against a team like Toledo, like what's the rest of the season going to look like? Sorry, I gotta adjust my lighting here. I don't have the LT studios as we try to move Christmas stuff around, so we'll make this work. But getting blown out by Toledo is a different kind of story. Mississippi State loses that game close last night. You go, okay, well, but because of some of the way that the game shook out, you started going, you know what? This might be going in a little bit of a different direction than what we all thought. And so I want to kind of take a big step back. We're going to read some of your responses for those who shared on X last night when I asked what went right, what went wrong, and what was missing for Mississippi State. We got some entertaining thoughts, entertaining commentary on it. So we will look at that and a lot of other things. Very excited to get to that. But first, I want to let you know that this episode and every episode is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. I'm sitting right in front of my Pit Boss Austin XL Pro. And what I had on there yesterday, I smoked some cream cheese through some hot pepper jelly on it, but I used some Heath Riles sweet barbecue rub to kind of go over the top of the smoked cream cheese. So delicious. Oh my goodness, so good. Had a watch party yesterday, and that was really delicious stuff. Heath's all of his products are trusted by pit masters and backyard cooks alike for bold flavor and winning results. You can get his stuff at over 15,000 retailers nationwide, or you can go to heathrilesbarbecue.com, enter promo code DAWGS10, DAWGS10 at checkout and get 10% off. Heath Riles has you covered. Grill with confidence, season like a pro. And I did want to announce, and we'll have a graphic and all that fancy stuff come out a little bit later on, but we have an Egg Bowl giveaway that we're very excited to announce. So next week, we are going to talk about, or we are going to kind of announce when you can enter into it. But for everybody, whoever wins the giveaway gets a Yeti camo coaster, Coldster, a sticker pack, the Ultimate Grilling Bundle from Heath Riles, a Heath Riles beanie, and the Ultimate Grilling Bundle from Heath Riles comes with, it's like a $70 value. It's got like has 3 seasonings, 4 rubs, 2 of the heat gloves, a Heath Riles apron, like I said, $70 worth of stuff. And yeah, there's the beef rub, chicken rub, garlic jalapeno rub, garlic rub, buffalo seasoning, lemon pepper buffalo seasoning, and garlic parmesan seasoning, all for whoever wins the giveaway. And so we'll get to that. We'll tell you how you can enter that next week, going into this week, I guess you could say. But very thankful for Heath Riles and for his partnership. And it gives you something exciting to look into and kind of lean forward to for Egg Bowl week. Also, man, I'm dragging a little bit, so I'm going to drink an Ion X Energy. They are our energy caffeine sponsor for the show. Man, Ion X Energy is awesome if you are someone who is looking for sustained natural energy. you're not looking to have some sort of big crash, Ion X Energy is perfect for you. They have L-theanine, which is in it, which kind of helps out with focus if you're ever looking for something that's not going to give you some sort of big crash, and also gets caffeine from green tea. Prebiotic gut health, organic agave, and B complex vitamins, electrolytes, and vitamin C. You can grab a case at Drink Ion X. That's drinkionix.com, and use code NDP, MyDawgsPod, MDP10 for 10% off of your order, and you will not regret it. This has been fantastic, and I'm always kind of watching the calories on stuff. This is no sugar. There's 5 calories in this thing, and it's phenomenal. It's like blue raspberry, and it's great. And there's only 150 grams of caffeine, so it's not going to like kill you if you drink too much of it. So always thankful for our partners over at Ion X Energy. Also, if you like my hoodie, if you are a fan of very comfortable hoodies, Malreg has you covered. Malreg's performance wear, it is the most, I've said it so many times, and it's true, the most comfortable hoodie that you will wear this winter. They have all kinds of golf performance stuff at a very affordable price. You're not going to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars, or $100 or $140 for a hoodie or for a polo, anything like that. It's very affordable. And several listeners, since we partnered with them last week, starting last week, several of you guys have already ordered stuff, and I'm very excited for our partnership together. But you can go to their website. That's Malreg, Maelreg, performance wear, malreg.com. Enter DAWGS15, DAWGS15 for 15% off. I promise you, it's going to be the most comfortable hoodie that you will wear this winter. So let's talk about Mississippi State. And I know you're thinking, you know what, I'd really rather not, but you're here, and I'm glad you're here. So let's talk about it. I think the overwhelming thing to talk about, what went wrong in this game, where do you start? I'm actually going to start here. I know Mississippi State gave up 326 yards of rushing. That's a huge deal. To me, I think what went, we usually start with what went right. We're not going to do that today. Here's what went wrong for Mississippi State. Mississippi State knew that Ahmad Hardy was getting the ball. Matt Zollers is a true freshman, was not throwing the ball very efficiently, had an interception, completed barely 50% of his passes. They knew the ball was going to Ahmad Hardy, and they could not stop him. There's a particular rant from Nick Saban that's in my head. They could not stop Ahmad Hardy, knowing that they were not going to pass it all over the field. I think that's what's most frustrating and most confusing. Like, why wouldn't you try to stack the box? And look, there were times where it wasn't like there was just 3 down linemen and everybody's way back. I mean, there were times that they got in. And Ahmad Hardy's a very good back. His cutting lanes, his ability to cut is very, very impressive. But knowing that they're not going to throw it and still not being able to stop it is incredibly frustrating. And it's one of the reasons, it's why at the beginning of the game, the camera got that shot of Levy and Hustler, kind of laughing it up and having a good time. That's awesome. This team is 1-16 in 2 years in the SEC. It's kind of like, I don't know if you remember that there was an interview with Derek Anderson, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns years ago, and Cleveland was getting destroyed, and he was on the sideline just kind of laughing, joking with people. And he was asked about it in the post game, and he got very defensive, very upset. But the press was right to ask it, like, why are you making jokes and cracking up with everybody? You're getting destroyed as a team. It's just a bad look to be, hey, what's going on, man? How's it going? Ha, let's laugh it up. Like, let's laugh it up later whenever it's time to actually play. Like, this team is not a good team. Mississippi State, for all the improvement, and it needs to be said, man, they are very improved. This team is not a good team. And the defense, while it has improved over the last couple of weeks, man, it has not looked very good. And in this game, just got straight up embarrassed. It was worse than Cam Scatterbo versus Arizona State. Ahmad Hardy rushed for 300 yards, and they knew that he was getting the ball. They knew it. There's nothing they could do to stop it. The reason that that's tough, and I kind of went back and forth between, well, is that right? Is it wrong? Or is that wrong or missing? The reason I put that first is because I feel like it starts there. If you can figure out a way for them to go, well, dang it, man, we really got to have some options, then their defense isn't having to rush the passer with, kind of pin their ears back of, well, we should be fine. Doesn't really matter. They're going to stop us anyway when we get the ball back. State's defense needs to make some sort of changes. And I know the talent's got to be better, especially in the defensive line, man. It just does. They have to get better. They had 2 sacks in this game. One of them was kind of a technicality because of intentional grounding, but Will Whitson's still tied for leading the teams in sacks, and he hasn't played since the second game of the year. Mississippi State's defense is what went wrong in this game. What went right? I mean, what can you say? I think finally giving Kamario Taylor the ball, I mean, way too late, in my opinion, but you need a passer rating of 206 compared to Shapen's 96 passer rating. Kamario had an 18-yard run. I mean, he showed off as good as he can because Missouri is a good pass rush, but he's 4 for 5 throwing the ball. I thought he looked pretty solid, looked very confident. I think that's really all I got. I mean, the defense played as well as they. I mean, they gave up 21 points in the first half. They gave up their second and third first quarter touchdown of the season. That's really it. What was missing is smart play calling and decision making when it came to the quarterback. I mean, in my time of watching Mississippi State games, I've never seen anything like being inside the 2-yard line and you just don't give the ball to Devon Booth, or you don't try a quarterback sneak. I don't get it. Like it was clapping, taking the ball, running right up the middle. It was like Dak up the middle, but Dak was talented at running the ball. This is not his forte, man. Like he's not a runner. When he gets hurt when he gets in those situations. I just did not understand how they could call the same play over and over again and expect it to work. That's when I looked at it and thought, you know what, there's something that's pretty wrong with this team. And the decision not to give the keys to Kamario Taylor, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like if you don't start Kamario in the Egg Bowl, why? That's really what it gets to. Why wouldn't you do that? You've proven you cannot protect the quarterback. So why wouldn't you put the most athletic one in there, who's not a bad quarterback anyway, who might end up being much better than Blake Shapen? I just don't understand it. And there's always a fine balance because you don't ever want to be the guy like, man, that coach is so dumb and he don't know what he's doing and anything like that. Blake, Jeff Lebby is eons smarter than I am in life in general, most likely, but certainly in the game of football. Like he knows what he's doing. I just don't understand. Like I get if you think, look, if we can just protect the quarterback, Blake gives us a good shot to win. I can understand that, and I can buy into that because Blake makes pretty good decisions for the most part. But you can't protect the quarterback. Even with Albert Reese, this offense was terrible, man. They could not protect the QB. And because of that, where else do you go but Kamario Taylor? He has to be the guy that starts in the Egg Bowl. I really don't understand if not. And as much as I hate to say it, with how competitive everybody is, you're going to be one of the only teams going into next season with not a ton of momentum. You end up losing, especially if you lose bad to an Ole Miss team that might be about to lose their coach. That might be the final game he coaches in is the Egg Bowl, possibly. I still don't think so. I think Kiffin's going to stay at Ole Miss personally. But if you end up getting blown out there, you end up 5-7. That's an improvement, and that's great. But like at the end of the day, you should have beaten Florida, and you didn't. And you should have. Florida's not a very good team. It was a coaching mistake that lost that game. You should have probably beaten Tennessee, but you went to overtime with Tennessee. You definitely should have beaten Texas. You were up by 17 points. It's a coaching mishap when you give up that many points, like in the fourth quarter to lose the game. And then you find a way. You found a way to lose these games, and you beat Arkansas. But brother, that game was close. They almost did not beat Arkansas, who's an even worse team than Florida is. So there's just so many different pieces to look at. And I know you don't want to let go of your coach in this market, and I get it, but you do need to at least sit back. And I know, Zach Selman, any AD is thinking back and going, okay, well, if we had to make a change today, or if Lebby left, whatever it is, if State had to make a change or Lebby decided to go, Zach Selman has candidates in his pocket. That's just what good athletic directors do. Is that something that he would consider this year? I don't see why he wouldn't consider it if you look at the big body of work. That, you know what I mean? Like when you look at the whole, here's the record. If you're 1-17 at the end of the day, you might need to look back and go, okay, you know what, man, we might need to make some sort of adjustment. And I also wonder if Selman will look and say, hey, Jeff, like at the end of the day, man, you're gonna have to shake up this. You're gonna have to shake up this team. Sylvester Croom, there were guys he did not want to let go of. Woody McCorvey, he and Woody McCorvey were close, man, and he did not want to let go of Woody. And eventually, the decision was made. We got to let Croom go, or Croom resigned, whatever it is, because he refused to change, refused to go to anything else other than that West Coast offense, man. Oh, Wesley Carroll. Although 2008, yeah, Wesley Carroll, that was there for the last season. Then he transferred to FIU. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, we had a quarterback transfer? That never happens. And now here we are, 14, 20 years later, however long it's been. Looking at next week, there's a lot of things I think State's going to have to work on and focus on. But at this point, you just kind of are who you are. At this point in the season, you got one more regular season game left. You just kind of are who you are. Mississippi State, for whatever reason, cannot run the ball. Actually, I'm not gonna say that. That's not true. Fluff Bothwell only had 6 carries in this game for 25 yards. He averaged 4 yards a carry. Booth averaged 3.5 yards a carry. Now they haven't been explosive. They haven't been whatever. State could not get a lot of push, a lot of movement running the ball. And for whatever reason, that's just kind of who they are at this point in the season. But they're also a very bad offensive line that is going to have to do things different if they want to move the ball. And so I think there are many, many different things to look at that are frustrating. And I just wonder what Selman kind of proposes to Lebby as you leave out of this season and go into the next season. Before we get into that next part of the season, we're getting into flu season. We're getting into season where people are coughing a whole lot. And look, we're presented by ENT Physicians in North Mississippi. They're the largest private ENT practice in the state, and their goal is very simple: deliver fast, expert and comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team, offering a full range of services from hearing aids to custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT Physicians in North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care. They now have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. Let's talk about it. Here is the deal we got to discuss. Here's the deal we got to talk about, presented by the man who wants to make a deal with you, Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties there in Starkville. Hey, you want to make sure you don't miss out on the next Bulldog win. You want to own a little piece of Starkville, check out 5 Point Condos, a short walk from campus, so you won't be missing out on all the excitement in Starkville. Just a short walk from the drill field. Kane Overstreet has several different properties you can check out, even just going online, going on their Facebook. You can kind of click through little virtual tours. If you're like, I don't know about meeting somebody in person, I'm not that committed. Kane would love to answer any question you might have. If you have a student coming to campus, you want to take care of them, get your kid in some great housing, or if you yourself, you're just looking for an upgrade, you were looking for something nice, looking for something affordable, check it out. Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. You can contact Kane with any questions at 662-769-7309. That's 662-769-7309 to contact Kane Overstreet. Here's the deal. Got to get a sip. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, the best case scenario, I sat here at the beginning of the season, and I was by myself at first, and then I got on an episode with Neil, and he asked me the same thing. What's the best case scenario for Mississippi State? And I wanted to say 6-6, but I thought even in the best case scenario with this schedule, I just don't think that's possible. And I looked in the camera and I said, I think the best case scenario is 5-7. I think that's just the highest. If you get to 6-6, that's even more. That's even more incredible. But I think 5-7 is probably your best case scenario. And they're on track for 5-7, but it's not a super positive 5-7 at this point in the season. Now, midway through, you barely sneak past Tennessee, but you thought, okay, if you could have closed out Texas or Florida, then it's a different kind of story. But there were coaching issues is the reason they lost those games. That's That's the rub. That's the reason why it's a little concerning of like, well, geez, man, how did you end up losing these games that you had so well in hand? That's the part that I go, okay, well, what's the best way to really talk about this? It's concerning, and going into the next season, especially if State loses this game by multiple touchdowns and Ole Miss is, I mean, look, I know people don't want to talk about Ole Miss. Ole Miss is in your state, and they've got issues of their own with their coach. Don't get me wrong. But they're probably going to the playoff more than likely at this point, and State struggling along. Like that's frustrating. There has to be some sort of solution. If you go 5-7 after the frustrating losses here, I guess what I'm saying is it's not like ticket sales are going to be crazy. Or not. If you would have beaten a Texas, if you would have beaten a Florida, or both, as you should have, even then if you go and lose the Egg Bowl and you lose this Missouri game, you at least go, okay, well, we're definitely going to a bowl. We beat some teams that were definitely better than us. It's just kind of a sour taste in the mouth. And they're very, very close to losing that Arkansas game. We cannot forget about that. So I'm interested to see where things go. The Egg Bowl is going to be huge. It's going to be really, really big for Mississippi State. You pull off a win. It's just kind of funny how football works. You pull off a win versus Ole Miss. I don't want to say all is forgiven, but a lot is kind of forgotten because you're 6-6. You beat your rival. You're going to a bowl game. But the way the team played last night, I'm just not prepared. As I get blinded by the sun, I'm just not prepared to say that's going to be possible. So we thank you guys so much for listening, as always, to My Dogs Pod. We're off tomorrow. We'll be back on Thursday. It's bye week for Mississippi State. Make sure you check out our Twitter. This is a crazy scene right now. Make sure you check out our Twitter at MyDawgsPod, and we will holler at you guys next time. Thank you, as always, for listening. Check out Heath Riles Barbecue for all of your barbecue needs.